Welcome to the finale of Day in the Life of. Yes, the program where we bring to you the different occupations within St. Vincent and the Grenadines that a lot of times people see the employees going around doing the jobs and they do not know what is happening behind the scenes. So first off, we are going to deal with the ECGC aspect where I was involved as a miller. For the very first time I went into the ECGC compound and I was truly amazed by the structure and the big machineries that were there. I mean, I've never been in a factory before, so kudos to ECGC for giving me that opportunity, and also the director, Miss K. Yeah. And the ECGC thing, the workers were, they were really nice, I must say. As I said, I'm not sure if it is just because we were doing a program there that they were that, heartwarming, but they definitely, if it was that case, they did play their roles perfectly. But I think that the workers there, they are very hardworking. And I must say that I learned a lot, especially from the training aspect that we did. We had to do about an hour and a half or so. And imagine that, I was just working one day, right? Or pretending to work basically for one day. And I had to undergo intensive training and safety awareness for an hour and a half. It was not dull, it was very interesting because the lady, I can't remember her name, but she's a very sweet individual. Hope that when you watch this, you'll say yeah. So she definitely outlined the safety hazards within a workplace of such a stature. I learned of the different types of fire extinguishers. All the time I see fire extinguishers, oh yeah, cool. That is just for auto fire, I didn't know they have special nozzles for the different types of fires. There are about 4 different categories of fire extinguishers. You have to hold the nozzle a certain how. And I didn't even know that you had to unclip. They just do that for, man, I think when you get a fire extinguisher, there's a point and you start to shoot and fire out. I mean, that's how they just show it on the TV. So, I mean, you can't blame me for my ignorance there, right? Also, in the ECGC component, we saw how the rice was being imported into the country, because we also went on the wharf to help take off some of the rice. I swept rice into the sea for the fish, who didn't really bite much because they probably had a late night before, so they didn't really come out and greet us. But still, it was really nice. My friend there, I think Roman Spencer, yes, table tennis guy, he showed me a few ropes with the little forklift that they were using to take off the rice. They have to be very diligent in their jobs to calculate the amount of bags that are coming off and those sort of things. Wow. I must say, I like the outfit that I was in. I mean, it was my first time wearing such overalls. And the cap, it made my head sweat a lot. I think my head probably lost some size after that. Also, the shoes covers, they were very uncomfortable, but they were necessary, because they couldn't find my size. You know what they say about men with big feet, right? They wear big shoes. So, yes, also in the mill itself, it was very hot. Not sure how the workers normally make it on an everyday basis. But yeah, we saw the rice. It has to be properly calculated also. Within the different bags, it must be properly stamped on the correct date. Yeah, so you have to be very careful with the machinery that was putting the rice into the different bags. Yes, so the different rice that they import, I mean, for those of you who probably my age and older, you remember Mr. Peter Piper, is that the man? George, whichever the guy who was picking the rice and he was still picking. Yes, Peter stopped picking. Buy the true rice, the carry Paul rice. Yes, the raster that showed me how to restart the film, and so can't remember your name right now, boss, but yeah, kudos to you. You definitely showed me the hands-on ways of using the new equipment and also the old one that he said cost a lot of guys their fingers, so you have to be very careful when dealing with those things. Also, I must express a lot of gratitude to Miss Bettina. She's the lone female miller here at the ECGC rice factory. And also Miss James. Big up my friend Makida, yes, lovely lady. And all those who contributed to my wonderful day there at the ECGC rice mill factory. It was an experience that will be long lasting for me. And I hope that, you know, y'all could invite me back down for a month or so to work again. This time with pay or with rice. Y'all could give me some rice, some dog rice, no problem. Welcome back to A Day in the Life of course, I'm your host, Mosiah, and in this segment, we will be dealing when I was a construction worker. Yes, those people here who were working with me, the directors and the cameraman, they felt that I would not have been able to. You know what I mean? I just showed them that, you know, I was a real boss still, you know. Yes, the construction worker. I just always, let me go down in the dialect. Me does always say, them people who doing construction, kudos to all. Especially when it's sun hot and stinging like right now. I've done it before, we now go down again. Unless it's like a program, we don't know again, a little extra food. Yeah. Yes. Another program, another day in the life of where you have to wake up early. Yes, the construction, you see, it started off pretty well. I learned a few things, but I knew basically a lot of the stuff that was taking place. When you had to run the blocks, you must get your line to make sure that the blocks are being run in a straight line. Of course, the mortar depends on how the day is also. You don't want to mix it too wet because you need it to hold the blocks properly, and also it has to be dried at a sort of a fast rate in a sense. Depends on where you're actually running the blocks. And of course, you have to make sure that you have steel in your blocks, or else when we get our natural disasters, it will be crumbling down, right? Yes, the bending of steel was probably one of my most exciting time there, dealing with the construction part of it. I mean, I've did it before when I was doing my house. Well, not my house, but yeah, I live in this is my house, right? I don't know why my cameraman partner, oh my laughing. Yes, the 3/8 and the 5/8 steels. We were doing some columns, basically, yes. So I think they were about 20 feet in length, the steel, that is, and then we were bending 3 feet or so. However, I can't remember the exact measurement that we were bending these steels for the stirrups. That is the piece of steel that you bend around the other long piece of steel for the columns. I mean, there's those who have probably been around houses that are being constructed or have been constructed will know what I'm talking about. Yes, my good friend Sparrow, he went me through the steps pretty well. And when you look at the program, you can tell that Sparrow is always a lively person. He always has something funny to say. So it was very interesting work with it. Yes, so at that particular stage in time, the house that we were working on, they were into their 4th month, and you can see the stage at which the house was at that time. Those guys, they probably have some electric hands because they're working pretty fast. Also, we saw how they would take down the deckings and stuff. You have to be very careful. I don't know which one of the boards that you're going to release first, because if you just go anywhere and start to use the crowbar, start to use your hammer and start to take out nail and pull down board, you can end up be crushed. You will be buried under a pile of wood. And I don't think any man wants to be buried under a pile of wood. Pussy. Right? You have to be very careful, and we saw one of the workers, he was wearing a helmet. I think it's Sheldon, isn't it? Sheldon, Shawin, my partner, one of those names. I'm not really good with names, so forgive me, please. Right? And he was at least adhering to it. He told me about a week or 2 weeks ago, one of the plywood came down when they were trying to release different sections and cut him, and he, you know, as his body temperature was a bit high due to his walking and sweating and stuff, it spewed a lot of blood. So, you know, those are some of the things that can go wrong on our work site that you don't want. You know, so you have to try and make sure that you have the safety equipment at all times, and also that you adhere to the safety rules and regulations when on a construction site, because you don't want anybody to be injured or any sort of thing like that. That could definitely hamper your preparations in constructing your building also. My first time seeing how one of those concrete mixers operate or is being used. I always see guys just like it have a ad on TV, Argos cement, one of those cement that them man just train and bag everything in the mixer. Yeah, but I mean, I was walk through the different steps that you must do. You must check for the oil, you must check that it has enough fuel and those sort of things before you even start or think of cranking it up. And you can see that the guys, they were very creative in their way that they said that the handle or the lever was broken off or was damaged, and they made up their own things. I mean, I guess that's why they are in that particular field, as they might run into a little mishap also. They use their intellect and their wisdom that God gave them, and they decide that, yeah, we could bypass it and go this way. So yes, the mixer definitely helped to ease up the workload that a construction worker would have done. When I did my stint on the Bill Air Clinic, I think, yeah, so many moons ago, you know, when I was like, you know, real bony and nashy. Yes, we had to be mixing gauge, like 20, 30 something buckets gauge, and trust me, that was tiring. There were nights that I did not manage to make it into the bath. I must admit, you know, I must admit, I'll take that right, you know, because your body is so tired when you reach home. So, I mean, credit must go out to those guys who do those sort of things on a daily basis. That is their livelihood, and they still, there's a lot of guys who do those work and still go and play a sport or cricket or football here in our lovely island of St. Vincent. So, yeah, much kudos will go to those guys. I must big up and give much thanks to Mr. George Chance, the foreman. Mr. Chance, he outlined certain things that were taking place at the time, and some of the setbacks that they had when it came to the constructing of the place due to the road and different little minor things that would have caused a little bit of a delay. But Mr. Chance, who said he has been doing it for quite a long time, since he came out of school and he couldn't get a job, he went into that and learned his trade. And that is something that some of the younger folks, the young men and so, who are being very idle could take up on. Those of you who have come out of school and can't seem to find a job. And remember, office job is not all of it. A skilled person will go a very long way, more than an office person. Because, I mean, you suit and tie don't always tell it all. And a lot of time, the suit and tie don't pay as much as a skilled person. So take that into context, right? Yes, we're back with the end of life of Bakery Walker. Yeah, man. Yes, I was involved in baking some of the lovely bread and other pastries that you guys ate on that particular day. Whichever day it was, I can't remember the date. I sound like if I'm suffering from amnesia. Jeez. A lot of things I can't remember. That's because I have a lot on my plate. But yes, the Bakery Walker at CK Graves, where they do all the baking and stuff.
The Sunrise Bakery was established at Annisville in 1961. In the early 70s, the supermarket was incorporated into the bakery, the one we know as CK Graves Annisville. The building was expanded in 1994 and a more modern supermarket was opened. The bakery was moved to the upstairs of the new building, where it is still operating today. The Sunrise Bakery currently employs 30 persons, 15 male bakers and 9 ladies that package the produce. The bakery is considered as one of the leading bakeries in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
This particular job now that I was doing as a baker had me getting out of my house, tiptoeing. No, I didn't tiptoe, man. I walked brave, right? At midnight. Booty call hours, as they normally call it. So, yes, I had a booty call with the CK Graves at Sunrise Bakery. But I learned a lot and I walked away a very happy camper, as they would say. I'm not really good at baking because I don't really do it, you know. But I definitely learned the process in which those workers have to go through. And within that short space of time, to make that amount of bread, or breads is, as we would say in Vincent, don't judge me, right? Yes, to provide for the public and other business entities, it must be commended, definitely. must big up my friend, Mr. Adams, Mr. Energy God. He seems to be full of endless energy. He was the most jovial of all the workers there and the most willing to show me how to produce the best quality bread, best quality cake, and so forth for Secret Grave Sunrise Bakery. And believe you me, this guy is not going through any book, any recipe, nothing, nada, ningo, nothing like that. He has all the steps in his cabeza, his head. Everything, down to the amount of water that is needed for the bread, the shortening, I was just stunned and astonished that this man, I mean, when you do something every day of your life, basically, it comes like nothing. But to remember all those numbers, oh, yes, 5.5 pounds of shortening, this and that. Just off the top of his head. And it was whole wheat after one, this after that. Jeez, you name it, it was being made at different intervals. And I must tell you that the end product went down well, though. I definitely got to put some in my tummy, hot off the press. And yeah, I consider that I did a good job, you know. So I think I might go back into baking, you know, sometime soon. But not for sale, though. So I can't get honest. But I must say, being in the bakery, the part of it, it is not all just smiles, because you have to be on your P's and Q's, because you're there with like 15, 12 or so other persons walking alongside you. And when they're cutting and pulling out, yes, I think there's an episode where you see me struggling. I got some back pain from it. That Mr. Adams, I'm not forgiving you as yet. He nearly murdered me with a big chunk of dough. I tried to be Mr. Macho. Lift up the thing, well, try to. But it conquered me. I must accept defeat. Yes, there was a particular way. There's a blade, I don't even know what to call it, that you use to cut the dough after it has been mixed in the big thingy mixer thing, right? Yes, and you cut it, and then there's a particular technique that you have to take it on and cup it up. And yeah, but I did master it though, I must say, but I had to cut out some smaller chunks, you know. As I said, you have to know how to cut the dough and take it out properly, because you don't want to get on the back strain trying to lift up big things that you can't lift. Yes, and I also, you see, that's what I'm saying. When you go behind the scenes, you learn all different things. I did not even know that the Sunrise Bakery produced hamburger bread for KFC and those other outlets. So yes, there's a lot of things that are happening and producing right in front of our eyes that we just don't know. Yes, and in those big industries or factories that you're baking bread in, it's not like home, where you just turn on the oven, chooks, shove it in there, and you know, and you just sit down like for 15 minutes, you might drink something waiting on the bread. Bread is like 15 minutes? I've never baked bread, so. Yes, but there's a big looking thing called a Poover. I hope I got the name right. It's not Cuva. I think Cuva is a place in Trinidad, if I am correct, subject to correction. So the Poover is where you put in the bread to get the bread raised. Just like how we would leave the bread outside to get it raised. Right. They put it in a big oven, a holding station basically, and then after whatever time frame or time scale that they put it there for, the other person will take it out from the back of the Poover or the holding station and then put it into the big ovens that push off and throw off a lot of heat. But I must tell you, them oven bad like storm. Them a break the bread them fast. Yes, as I said, the oven, them a work. The bread that was done first, I think it was the dollar bread, the hot dog bread basically. They didn't take much time, and yes, we did get to taste the end product that was being done there. Yes, so kudos to Mr. Knights, who played an integral part in us being there and allowing us to feature the Sunrise Bakery. And yeah, it was well received. I learned a lot. I now know how to bake certain things. In a factory, that is. I don't think that if I started the process at home, I would make it. I must send out some thank you for Mr. Nigel Graves for allowing us to go behind the scenes and shoot within the bakery. I mean, it's not all the time that a boss man would allow persons to go and see what is actually being done in case somebody try to take the recipe. I'm trying to steal it, but not for any business purposes, just for personal use. So also Miss Valerie Graves, that was also instrumental in us being able to do that particular segment of the program. So thank you guys very much. Welcome back to A Day in the Life of. Our final segment, we will be dealing with, yes, when I was a sanitation worker. A lot of people sometimes may look down on those persons, but I must tell you, refrain from doing such. And if you are, you're ignorant. And those guys must be well applauded for the jobs that they do on a daily basis, keeping the streets, the gutters, sidewalks, etc. of our lovely island squeaky clean. A lot of times we see a lot of debris and garbage, especially after event, probably in Heritage Square or wherever. And the very next morning, at least by 4, 5 o'clock, 6, you can't even see a piece of string flying around. So that just goes to show the type of work that those guys do and the pace at which they do it, to ensure that when persons come into the capital, they will be greeted with somewhat of a friendly atmosphere, right? This job, I definitely, as all of the others, had to get up early. Not pleased. I'm just letting my director know, Miss K. Not pleased, yes. But they say that the early bird catches the worm. And in this instance, the early bird or the early broom caught the garbage, right? We teamed up with Mr. Pincham and Grammozone. Yes, Grammozone. I almost forgot the name, the man. That's a bad name, though, trust me. If I was called Grammozone, I'd have walked around with my chest the whole time. Because, you know, Grammozone is poison people, so that means you're bad, real bad. But those guys, they know their route. They have been doing it for a lot of years. I think that both guys say that they are going to retire at the end of this year or thereabouts. So we must give them a big applause, big thank you for putting in such dedicated service for those years that they have done. Mr. Pincher, Mr. Well-dressed, Mr. Best-dressed. The guy who does not shun away from any sort of a battle. It was very interesting to work with him because, as I said, he knows every nook and cranny. He knows where the garbage them there. Some garbage I even see and he finding them. I cannot forget the self-flush where he called the the back there at Lower Bish Street, if I get it right. He definitely explained it, what it is, so I don't need to further go into that. And the persons who continue to illegally dump, please refrain from doing so. And a lot of the times, there are business owners and business places who are doing it because the amount of garbage that is being deposited cannot come out of a house. If that is a house, my goodness, it is problems. So those business owners who are reaping in large chunks of money, simple, pay a private garbage collector to pick up your stuff. It will be better for all of us involved. The place will be healthier. There would not be those big rodents, rats, some size of rats I see running around in Kingston sometime, and some roach. Can't believe. Tongue rat really living better than country rat. No lie. So y'all need to do better. Also, those persons within the vegetable market who Mr. Pincham say throwing the garbage on the ground, desist from doing so. But also, it would be good if there are garbage bins, couple being erected, so that those vendors could put their stuff in it after their shifts. And also, something needs to be done to those vagrants and crackheads that go every day and turn over the garbage. Because, I mean, it's a two-way street. On one hand, you would definitely have the persons who would deposit their garbage or dispose of their garbage in a proper way. And it would be those who don't care. And then when you have the vagrants and the crackheads, say, yeah boy, we're hungry, ready for mash up something. Them ain't going to buy no place, no restaurant or nothing for buy nothing. Because them not no money. So where they go? In the garbage. And a lot of times I see them just turning over the garbage, doing all kind of thing. And if they put it back in, I don't have no problem in it. But they don't. So that is a very big problem that the authorities really need to look into. But I must say that the sanitation job was quite interesting. The amount of garbage that does be collected on a daily basis, it was astonishing. So that means that persons are not disposing of their garbage properly. Yes, those in authority, they need to be more firm, because at one time, I think that there was a particular signboard that was erected with no dumping. And believe you me, right below the sign, there was dumping. I'm not sure if the person didn't see the no, or they do not understand the no, and they dump the stuff here. There's also a lot of dead dogs that turn up. They either get knocked down, and I don't think they get poisoned, because I highly unlikely. Most of the time it's a blow they get, and they just turn stiff. Yes, so those sanitation workers who have to deal with the burying of the dead dogs, you know, it's an extra money in the pocket. I mean, I'm not saying that people should just go about licking down dogs now, so the sanitation workers go get extra something, right? But let's do it in a proper way. Let's keep the island clean, and we also should give them more credit. The tools that they were using, they were a bit peculiar. The broomstick, oh my goodness. But they're saying, I think, Pincham or Grammars, one of them was saying that due to their back, they has a back problem, so they can't really do too much bending, so therefore they would get a special, God, that had to be a special stick, because they're extra long. I guess it works for the reaches as well. So from preventing you from incurring further back pain, they get a long broomstick, rack it on the broom, and you know, that makes the job easier. So before we come to the end of the program, I must give thanks to Mr. Noel Douglas and Neary James of the Sanitation Department for allowing us the time to dwell with their workers and also with them in going about the various routes, and so that the workers would go about and make sure that the streets of the capital Kingston is cleaned on a daily basis. So we have now come to the end of a day in the life of. I know that you definitely enjoyed it. I did. I was everything. I was a construction worker, a baker, a miller in the rice factory, and I was a sanitation worker, and I'm very proud. You know, I think that I will be biased right now. I think that I did perform admirably, better than I expected, and I must say thanks to the director for coming up with such a program, because I got to experience different occupations and see what it is all about behind the scenes. And the credit must go out to those workers who show up every day and put in their dedication. Everything may not be the best, but they still go out there and do what they have to do and ensure that their needs are met. So this is where I wrap up. I am, of course, Mosiah, and it was truly a wonderful time being here and being your host in the life of. We will now end with the Keisha song.
Make more trouble when you come to me walk. Keisha girl, me not pay them no mind Keisha. Beat no hell when me watch Keisha. She go do me well, Keisha, me know what you saying. And go to hell, Tika, me go watch out to me. Ring the bell, Keisha, me I tell her, give me love you well. You come at Sanitation to watch me. Then you wanna put me back on the TV. Keisha girl, that you looking to love me. This money me I work and get me salary. Keisha get me I go spend it on she. Don't be too fussy, Keisha get angry. Keisha girl, you know that me love you plenty. So you come to Sanitation and watch me.
Yes, that you put the bread into to get them keep them moist, moisturizer. Is that right? Is moisturized? Yes. Yes, so once more, we will give some thanks. Yes, so big shout out. No, Cassidy, big shout out. Ear up and big up yourself now. Alright, that was just to get in the mood, man. Yeah. How are you so far? Solid waste? No. Sanitation department. They may have different name. It's sanitation department. They may go by all the time. Oh my. No, true. Before we wrap up the program, we must give thanks to Mr. Noel Gums and Neary James of this. So you can Gums from? Somebody said Gums before. You said Gums the first time. Yes. No. This so, where would you been by do? You say Noel Gums first, and then after you say Douglas. Now you. She said Gums. Well, probably when I talk, I probably thought it was Gums. So, subject to correction, forgive me. You have me hungry. Yeah. Put in a party. What do you have to put in a party? Please start. Oh God, what's man? Oh, put on the bloopers. Your backside like you. Ready?